Hey guys, welcome back to AFK Arena. Today's video is going to be a bit of a beginner's guide. I'm only level 71, I'm not completely through the game, but I feel like I've picked up a fair grasp on the things you want to sort of focus on early game for your early progression. So that's what we're going to be going through in this one. So first up, the first thing I want to talk about is the campaign. Now, the campaign, the first thing you've just got to realize in this game is you will hit roadblocks. Every once in a while, or pretty much every day, at a certain point. The first few days you'll find you progress really fast. You might get through 2 or 3 stages, but then you'll start hitting roadblocks and you just won't be able to progress anymore. There's a few things you can do. You can do, like, the biggest thing I find is changing up the positions of your units. Changing the positions can really change the way the game goes. The other thing is you can try swapping units. Swapping units out for other units. It's not as easy early game in your first week or two because you don't have as many units to sort of swap around with that have been sort of ranked up. So it's a limited use, but it's definitely something that you can do even if your units are weaker. For instance, I sometimes often use my Pixie here because she's just really good support. She is weak, so she is squishy. But if I keep her in the back row, I even sometimes put her in the front row. She has an ability where she dances away. So you can get away with some units that aren't quite up to scratch with the rest of your units. So don't be afraid to try them and swap them in somewhere. But besides that, you can swap around your gear as well. Swap that, see if that makes any differences. But there is also the time that you'll come where you literally just have to go AFK, walk away, do something else. Jump over here, do some arena, arcane labyrinth, king's tower, anything like that, and basically you just need more experience, more hero experience, and more gear basically to progress. So that does happen, and that's where I'm at the moment in the game. I just feel like I need a bit more experience, level up my characters a bit more, and then I'll be able to progress further. And that just continues throughout the whole game, that same sort of idea. Moving on from the questing, obviously just a basic one: complete your daily quests every day, and complete your weeklies every week. You don't have to, all you really have to clear is up to getting the 100 chest. That does give you a single summon on dailies, 3 summons on weeklies. But it's nice to do all of them just to get the guild points, because that will help you unlock the second guild hunt, which we'll talk about in a minute. But yeah, just do your dailies, do your weeklies, gives you free stuff. Anytime something pops up in your mail, collect it if it's got something there. If not, don't worry about it. Standard ladder rewards, just collect them all the time as well. It's 50 gems every time someone on the server reaches a certain point, so why not take it? As you can see, we've got a nice whale on this server, ranking up all the ladders. After that, that's pretty much it for this general page. The next thing I really want to cover is friends, because friends are super important in this game. So when you get into it, max out your friends list. You really want to have a full friends list of active friends. That's the other thing. Don't be afraid to clear out inactive friends, because you really want them sending these friend points, which are the love hearts you can see at the top, because you can do summons with them. So really nice to have extra summons. The game is all about summoning, getting extra units, so you want to get as many summons as possible. And the next thing that's tied into friends is the library. So the library is a very big one that I feel like early game a lot of people don't really think about. But the library has unions. As you can see, this one has a dot, which means I've got something that's better, beautiful. So we're getting there. So with these unions, what they actually do is you have 2-3 units in every union. And when you have those units, as you can see down the bottom, it says use the 3 heroes. You can use your version of the hero. You can use a friend's version of the hero. It doesn't matter. You just got to fill these 3 slots at the bottom. And depending on the grade of those heroes, are the rewards you get. As you can see, the Beth on the left there, her shape or her outline has the 2 little triangles on the top right and the bottom left corner. That means she's legendary +1. If it was a purple outline with those ones, it would be elite +1. And basically, elite is purple, legendary is yellow, and then the little triangles in the corner mean they're the plus. So the reason you really want to focus on this, and this is where having really strong friends, if you have friends who've been playing for a while, really does help. You can put anyone's units into these slots to make the union. And this is one that some people I think get confused about. You don't have to have the unit at that rarity, and you don't have to use these units all in a team to gain the benefits. It's basically, the way it works is, if I have, as you can see, these 3 units, the one in the middle, she's not at Legendary Plus, so I just get the Elite Plus bonuses and the original bonuses, but all those bonuses get applied to all 3 of these heroes as a passive. Doesn't matter what team I use them in, doesn't matter what rarity they are, they all get those bonuses, and that is how it works. So you really want to fill out all these unions, especially the ones that have any heroes that you are using in your team. That took a little bit longer than I thought to explain, but it is a really important one, those unions early game, because the stat bonuses, if you do get a couple strong friends, and like if you look at this one, no one's got a good one of him, but if we get to the second stage of these bonuses, you'll see I'll get a 15 crit and an extra 5% attack, and like those bonuses are really nice if you can get those early game. Really help you out, especially crit early game. You don't get too much, so it's really nice. Moving on from that is guilds. Obviously, as soon as you unlock guilds, try and get into a guild. It gives you guild hunts, and you want to be doing that. I can probably do tips for guild hunts in another video, but you've got the Riz, who you want to do twice every day. He unlocks daily with the daily reset. Siren, you get points to unlock him, and then your guild leader or your deputy can actually start the challenge against that. And that's pretty much it for guilds. They also do have guild wars. It seems to be that guild wars do come in as an event, but you get nice rewards from it, so do it when they do come around. The next thing I wanted to talk about is the shop. Now, the shop is one that I do 2 things in it. So early on, basically, this dust here is something that is, you'll find later on in the game, you're really short on all the time. So at the moment, I'm always short on this dust. And so I normally buy this. I do normally have a lot of gold, but now I'm running a bit starved on gold, so I sort of buy this every second day now. But the dust is really important, so you want to keep collecting that dust. And like I said, gold, you'll find you have more gold than dust. Of course, I won't be able to buy this gear down the bottom with gold, but I feel like the dust is more important for progressing because it's something that I always do need. The only other thing I would consider saving for in the shop, this is with your diamonds. Now, diamonds, I pretty much say only use for summons. However, if there is a really good weapon or something that's going to help your main units in here with, that's a mythic gear, because mythic is the highest level gear. It is really expensive. This is over the cost of a 10 pool. But if we go over here and look at my Savius, I actually did buy this from the shop for about 3,100 diamonds, because the attack bonus on these mythics is actually insane. When I compare that, it's got a base 1,800 attack. If I go to change with the next best one that I have, actually I don't have the, wait, we'll go find it. So it's 1,800 base, and we look at the second best one that I do have, which is this one, and that's got like 310, and I believe the Legendary Plus has about 600 or 800, don't quote me, but like the stat increases on the mythic gear is absolutely huge, and that's why I definitely recommend. That would be the only other thing I would buy with my diamonds, because buying these sort of legendary gear, you're going to eventually replace them. So that's why I think just save for either the mythic or save for summons. Mainly summons early game, and then eventually get that mythic gear. When we go into the guild shop, I'm doing the same thing here. I haven't seen mythic gear drop in the guild shop yet, but I'm just saving until I see mythic gear, because like I said, eventually that's your end game gear. That's what you want to save for. Moving into the barracks, you basically want to stick to the purple soul stones. If you go over that, I guess you could go some blues, but purples, it's resetting in 3 days for me, and I wasn't able to get enough. So if you're heavy to pay to play, you might end up buying all these other ones. But if you're like light spending like me or free to play, just get the purple ones when you get enough points. The way you actually get these points for the barracks is by retiring heroes at the rickety cart. So as you can see, these common heroes, the green ones, basically you want to retire all of them. Early game, you might want to keep a couple for your bounty board, but once you get a fair few units, you won't need that, and you just basically retire them. They're literally, it kind of sucks because I'd love to be able to build them and use them, but it seems like they're only in the game to retire to get points for the barracks, and that's about it. Then we go to the Labyrinth store. The Labyrinth store, I have two main options for this one. And that's going to be either the Nomura, who I've actually bought. She's a great healer. Or Shamira. Now, Shamira is an absolute god at soloing content early on. And that's why she's a really good option to buy. For me, I bought Nomura because I already had a copy of her. And then having the second copy allowed me to ascend her. We'll talk about ascending in a second. But those are going to be your two main options from the Labyrinth store at the moment, is the Nomura and Shamira. If you do get a Shamira early, I'd definitely buy the second one there so that you can ascend. Moving on from the shop, like I mentioned, the rickety cart, obviously you can retire heroes. That's just for the common heroes. But you can also reset a hero. I've locked my hero, so I can't do it. But the great thing is, it only costs 20 diamonds, and you can refund all the experience and dust that you've put into a hero. Remove all their gear, do everything, and then you can try and build another hero. And it's actually a really good feature considering it is only 20 diamonds to reset them. So it does give you options to play around with your units if you want to test different lineups. The next one is the Resonating Crystal. Now, the Resonating Crystal, basically your top 5 level heroes, you put them, they all get lined up in here, and then you can select any unit that you have to put down the bottom, and they instantly get bumped up to the lowest level of those top 5 units that you have. So as you can see, the lowest level unit is 129 for me, meaning all these guys get bumped up to level 129. Now, the amazing feature about this is, for something like my Tassie here, who is currently only just a purple, so an epic hero at the moment, because she's only got the purple border, her level is actually capped at 100 when I try and level her herself. However, because she is in the Resonating Crystal allows her to go beyond that level cap of 100 and keep getting levels, which is really nice for units that you just haven't got the second copy of to ascend, and to get the extra skills. Because if we jump into skills here, we just have a look at skills. As you can see, you have all the skills, but then you can see that the grayed out skills tells you what level you actually unlock those at. So at level 141, this guy will get the extra skill there. But it's really nice to be able to get skills that are out of reach for your character. But so as you can see, the next skill that I can get for her is at 141. You do pick up another skill at 101 and 121. But as you can see, I've already picked those up because it doesn't show there. The next one there is 161, 201, and 181. So she's actually picked up those skills, even though in reality, if I did level her, she'd be capped at 100. So that's something definitely, once you get a little bit later into the game, to consider to be able to use these type of units. For instance, Brutus, he's an amazing tank. Mine is very weak because he's not ascended, but I am able to get him up levels and get those extra benefits to him just because I do have him in the Resonating Crystal. So definitely one to remember is that. Ascension, as we've touched on, you do need multiple copies of a unit to ascend. So what we'll do, we'll jump over here just for to talk about it. So you got your rare heroes. You can actually ascend them by using 2 more copies of them. These are the common ones that you're going to get heaps of. So you can just get rid of that, do that as much as you like. There's also in the bottom right, there's an auto ascend, which will do all those common ascensions that are basically no-brainers. You're going to have to do them eventually. It doesn't really ever put anything up here that you won't want to do so far that I've found. So you can just go auto ascend, confirm, and it sort of cleans up your hero box a little bit. As for other ascensions, when they're just purple, so this is an epic hero, an elite hero, sorry, I keep calling it epic. But as you can see, it tells you what you need to ascend him to elite +1. And that is another copy of himself. So that is where the dual copies come in. You do need more copies after that for more ascensions as well. We could probably go more in depth into an ascension video by itself. But for now, that's basically it. You do need multiple copies. If you're curious about how to ascend, you click on it. As you can see, this guy, he's now elite plus. So if I want to get him to be, legendary, I need 2 elite plus heroes of the same faction as him. They don't have to be him, they just have to be the same faction. So that's just something to look at. I think over here I might have enough to do it. So if we look at this guy, obviously I could send using these 2. He is a legendary hero, so I'm not going to do him. He is an ascended hero, so what I would do is wait and save, because once this guy does get to be legendary, let's see if I can find an example of that. Once they do get to actually being legendary, what they need is another copy of themselves, if I can find it. Okay, for instance, here we go. Nomura, as you can see, she needs an Elite Plus version of herself. So to get her to Legendary Plus, that's what I would have to have. And that is why to get to Legendary Plus for any of these, the rarer heroes, you're going to need 4 copies of them to get them to that level. So I sort of went a bit further than I was going to in that, but as you can see, there's a fair bit to Ascension, but you sort of pick it up as you go. If you guys want me to make a more in-depth video into Ascension, I can do that. That pretty much covers everything over here. Noble Tavern is just your summons. For summons, the one you do want to consider is these daily changing summons. So when you get these type of scrolls, it changes every day into factions, and basically you want to choose the faction that is the faction that you've got the most good units for. So for instance, for me, I've got a lot of really good Wilder units, and this Tassie I'd really like to upgrade. As you can see, my Nomura here, I've actually got a spare copy of her down here somewhere, if I can find it, just down here. And if I get another copy of her, I'll be able to send those two together and then actually ascend my Nomura to Legendary Plus. So I'd really like that. Eventually, I'd really like to do the same for Leica because she's a beast. And also this Tassie, I'd love another copy. So for me, I'm really focusing on those Wilders, so that's what I would be choosing. If my Brutus was at sort of Elite Plus or Legendary, I'd probably be looking at that. But because there's not too much else that I really want from the Maulers, I'm just sort of leaving it and just hope I do pull another Brutus eventually, or he comes out in an event. But we'll have to wait and see for that. And that pretty much covers everything that you want to be focusing on in this page here. When we jump into the Dark Forest, basically Arcane Labyrinth, do it every second day. It resets every second day. What I do recommend, just a quick tip for this one, is following the path where you actually do more battles. The abandoned wagons, I've never needed the units out of them. So I prefer to go the path of fighting more enemies so that you can actually unlock. So we'll just jump into it, for instance. I like to fight more enemies so that I can unlock more bonuses. So just take that path, whichever one gives you the most enemies. Unless, of course, you do need a revive or you do need a heal. Don't be afraid to go for the nodes that do give you a revive or a heal, because obviously that's going to be more important than whatever stat bonuses you can get. So obviously we go here, so we can just collect bonuses. And obviously when you go on the abandoned wagon or the healing, as you can see, the healing fountain up there, you don't get those extra artifacts that give you bonus stats and bonus effects. So you want to just focus the enemies unless you do need a heal or something like that. You can try the abandoned wagon. If you're really early game and you don't have a good healer, sometimes it might be worth it to go for the abandoned wagon to pick up a healer. But besides that, just keep progressing and go through. It's not too bad, the labyrinth. I find it fun and it gives good rewards. King's Tower, basically no tips for that. It's the same as campaign. You'll hit roadblocks, come back to it when you want to. Bounty board, obviously complete that every day. Do all your bounties that you can do. You will hit some and they do require, you get some that will require a legendary unit, 2 legendary units. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just go through it and complete it. Arena, obviously, once again, just another thing. I think you get like 4 or 5 as your VIP level goes up, which your VIP level does go up when you do level, I believe. You do get free-to-play VIP levels. That's all I know. So as you go up, you get more free entries into the arena every day. So just make sure you use them up. I've already used all mine. You can use your tickets too. I'm just saving my tickets for late game now. If I feel like I really want to do something in the game, then I'll use them. But there's no rush to use those tickets. They just sit there. You can use them later on if you want. But yeah, arena. Get through your arena. Once you get further in the game, you'll unlock this one. It's a 3-team versus 3-team. You can go through that as well. The game explains that pretty well when you get to it. And the last one to think of is Peaks of Time. This is a really good time filler. Like I didn't never rushed into them. I just waited till I had some spare time and then went through these Peaks of Times. Really fun, really enjoyable, great rewards from them. These are where you start getting the artifacts, which I'll jump over to one of my heroes and show you what So these artifacts, you get them from those different quest lines in the, if we go back here, in the Peaks of Time. They don't all drop an artifact. I think the drops are guaranteed in all of these peaks. So you will get the same thing as everyone else gets. So it's not a chance, it's just a guaranteed drop. But it is how you get those good things. There are some real different strategies in some of these, which makes them sort of... They'll probably get their own video eventually, because there is some interesting strategies that I had to Google to find the answers of how to complete them anyway. So we'll probably make a video about it, so the content's up here anyway to take you guys through that one. And that is pretty much going to be it for this beginner's guide. Just a quick recap. Campaign, content, eventually you hit roadblocks, don't be afraid to wait. Friends, really important, because friends, you want to get friends so that you can go over here to the library and fill out all these unions, plus also get extra summons. And then shop and diamonds. Save your diamonds for summons, unless maybe sometimes they're a bit of mythic gear. Those were the top ones that I really wanted to mention. We went through everything else, but I hope that gives you guys a fair idea of what you want to be looking at in the game early on for progression. If there's anything else you want me to cover in a video, please let me know. I'm happy to do anything. Like I said, I'm not the most knowledgeable about the game. I didn't play in the soft launch, so I'm a bit behind some other people, but you know, we're making progress and we're enjoying the game. So thanks for watching, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.